And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus on this Thursday afternoon. 106 and temperatures outside in the upper 30s to near 40. And we've got cloudy skies through much of the area. However, there's clearing about 25 to 50 miles to the west of the valley right now. Already seeing sunshine up around Grand Forks and the majority of the state seeing a lot of sunshine, but we'll see that here before the afternoon is done. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with our Ag Director, Bridgette Readel. It's almost Friday, Bridgette. Friday Eve. How's that?
Well, and tailgating Eve as well. So for those of you joining us here at the Coral Laundromat Studio, maybe you've got some tailgating things coming up this weekend. This is almost tailgating Eve. You're needing to get things cleaned up, right? So those tablecloths, those canvas tops for some of your tents, etc. Some of those things, let's face it, they get rained on. Ours do. They get laid on the pavement when they get rolled up. Do you need to get them washed up? Take them to Coral Laundromat over there on Veterans Boulevard. I would bet in their commercial washers, they could probably help you out. So give them a thought.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of tailgating, Bridgette, last Saturday, it was quite windy during tailgate. And temperature-wise, it wasn't bad, but it didn't matter because the winds were so stinking strong. This Saturday, it'll be breezy, but nothing like last Saturday. In fact, we're looking at much, much warmer temperatures as we head into the upcoming weekend. For today, though, again, we'll see clearing from west to east, and we'll see the sunshine here in the FM area probably by 3 o'clock and a little later in Lakes Country. So we'll end the day with some sunshine, and we'll keep skies clear as we head overnight with lows dropping down into the low 20s and light winds. Tomorrow, we'll have sunny skies, light and variable winds, and highs in the low to mid 40s. Then we warm things up even further as we head into the weekend. A little bit of a breeze on Saturday, northwest, about 10 to 20. That's not too bad. Highs around 50 on Saturday, in the low 50s on Sunday, looking pretty good. And then we'll keep the mild weather into Monday before a cold front hits on Tuesday, along with some light snow, it looks like. We're kind of on the edge of getting some measurable snow and just a dusting, so we'll see how this pans out. The problem is going to be we're going to have strong winds Tuesday into Wednesday out of the northwest at about 25 to 40. So even a little bit of snow is going to play some travel problems, it looks like, as we head into Wednesday. So keep up to date on the forecast. If you're doing any traveling on Wednesday right before Thanksgiving, we could have some problems in parts of the area. And again, most of our models are putting down about 1 to 2 inches. But again, we're not looking at a whole lot. There's a couple of models that are printing out a little bit more than that. So we'll see exactly how that pans out. But again, we'll kind of iron out the details here over the next couple of days.
Well, it's probably not a surprise that we're about to get that snow. Shouldn't also surprise anybody that I plan to be on the road on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So good luck, Cass County. Heads up for you.
And Bridgette,
we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, we've got a guest here.
Okay.
Trucker Al stopped by, and so Al just asked me, he goes, did Bridgette get her calendar yet? And no, she hasn't been in the office yet, but Trucker Al dropped off a nice cow calendar for you, Bridgette.
Oh, I bet it's from Leadstone, which is perfect because I wind up using that for keeping track of my social media work. So that's awesome. Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Al. Appreciate it, buddy. He dropped me off a little gift as well. Thank you, Al. Much appreciated.
You gonna drink yours while I write on mine?
Yes, he brought me something back from Wisconsin that every time he takes a road trip to Wisconsin, he's like, "What do you want?" I said, "You know what I want.
Spotted cow.
You got it."
Yeah.
Can't buy that around here. Get it. Can't buy that around here.
Nope.
But yeah, we're looking at, so in regards to next week, if you have any travel plans, like I said earlier, Tuesday night into Wednesday, please keep up to date on the forecast. And then it'll be quiet for Thanksgiving and the day after, but it's going to be cold with temps in the 20s. And then the weekend after Thanksgiving, we could have another potential snow event. That one looks to be favoring Sunday into Monday. And again, there's a lot of question marks with that one as well. But it looks like we're going to start out December, that first week in December, on a much stormier note and cold. So winter is going to make its return. We knew it was coming. And again, so enjoy this weekend, whether you're tailgating, whether you have some outdoor work to wrap up before the snow flies. This would be a really good weekend to get all that done.
I think so too. Now, speaking of tailgating, as we move forward into playoff season, it's time to recognize those who are champions. Not only are the Bison champions, but the Maddock Ranch of Maddock, North Dakota could be considered a champion as well. They are receiving the North Dakota Leopold Conservation Award. The Leopold Award is based on Aldo Leopold, who was a great conservationist and believed tremendously in soil health and more when it comes to keeping the land in a great condition. He wrote that the oldest task in human history was to live on a piece of land without spoiling it. And so this award goes to the Brian and Vicki Maddock family. They are being honored as a farmer and rancher who go above and beyond with their management of soil health, water quality, and wildlife habitat. On their 4,000-acre ranch in the heart of the Drift Prairie, they have taken the time with their 6 children and 21 grandchildren to plant 10,000 feet of trees, seeded over 900 acres of grass, and installed more than 100,000 feet of fencing. That means they've created 100 individualized paddocks for rotational grazing. And they've done this along miles of rivers and coulees. They've protected some very fragile riparian areas and helped prevent erosion on stream banks as well. They looked back in their history in the 90s of farming, and they seeded all of their very erodible cropland back to grass, and then noticed that the hilltops seemed to stay barren. So that's where they started feeding round bales on the hilltops to try to build up some more nutrients and so forth as much as they could. So congratulations again to the Maddock family. This is Maddock Ranch. Not only is it a ranch at Maddock, but they own the Maddock Ranch Supply Store in Harvey, North Dakota. So for those of you who want to do a little shopping, especially as you get to Christmas, their beef from their ranch is supplied at their store, and they will ship. So you can visit with them about getting beef orders in. I know that they are currently taking orders for prime rib. So when you've got a product like beef that's been raised locally by a family that you know, and you want to continue to do business with them, here's yet another opportunity. And again, they not only have great beef, they are now award-winning with the Leopold Conservation Award, which is given out in about 28 different states, North Dakota being just one of them. Now turkey.
Now you got me hungry.
Well, if you're not getting your prime rib for Thanksgiving, think about your turkey, okay? And some folks have that for Christmas as well. Okay, guys, what is the #1 turkey production state in the U.S.?
Oh, I think it's Minnesota, isn't it? Addison?
Addison?
What are you asking me? Do I look like a turkeyologist in here? I don't know.
Well, take a guess.
I don't know. Oregon.
Oregon. Watch it be Oregon.
Not Oregon. It is Minnesota. And that's why I was waiting for Addison, because I know you spent part of your childhood growing up in Minnesota. Minnesota's #1. They have 38.5 million birds, whereas North Carolina comes in with 29, shortly followed by Missouri, Arkansas, and Indiana. So also, turkeys have grown quite a lot in the last nearly 100 years. In 1929, the average size of a turkey that you were, well, I don't want to be gruesome, but let's say getting it ready for your Thanksgiving table. I was going to call it an off with your head, but nonetheless, turkey average size in 1929 was 13.2 pounds. Here we are now, they're at about 30.5 pounds. They have really gotten quite larger. That's through genetics, through good breeding that we have done within that industry. You know, it's kind of like the fact that humans have gotten taller over the time. Turkeys got bigger too. There is an award-winning turkey out there. The award for the heaviest dressed turkey has been unmatched since 1989. And that gobbling gentleman was known as Tyson. He weighed a whopping 86 pounds. And Guinness writes that he was sold at auction for a charity in London in that year of 1989 for just shy of $6,700. So there you go. Fun turkey facts to share at the Thanksgiving table as we get closer to that holiday. In addition, you can be giving us a phone call today on the JLA Insurance phone line, 701-293-9000. We truly look forward to emails. Our inboxes are powered by Superior Grain Equipment because you want to protect your farm's future with Superior Grain Storage, Drying, and Handling Solutions. Go to superiorbins.com. But you can email me, ag@flagfamily.com. You can also reach Dean, weather@flagfamily.com. Our social media, which you can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, and Acres TV, that is powered by Lighthouse Commodities. When we return, we're going to be joined by our guest for today, and that is Emily Krekelberg. Emily's with the University of Minnesota Extension. We're going to talk about some mental health, not only for farmers, but for rural and, well, frankly, for all of us. So we'll be back after the markets from the American Ag Network. And we are all back ready to have our guests join us today. But first, I have been making sure to look at applications this morning for students who are going to join us as our Cass County Farm Bureau intern. They will be an assistant ag director for the day. Have you considered it? Maybe you want to send in your application. And again, you can send me that email to my inbox, ag@flagfamily.com, powered by Superior Grain Bins, and I will take a look at those. I would like to keep booking students through the first part of the year. I think I've got a handful, but there's always room for more. So again, that is with the Cass County Farm Bureau. They are supporting our Assistant Ag Director internship here at the studio. Our guest today is someone who I've met actually through Twitter, and I'm excited that she's going to join us on air today, and that is Emily Krekelberg. She is with us from the University of Minnesota. Emily, how are you doing?
I am doing great, Bridgette. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous. So, all right, explain what you do with the University of Minnesota, and that'll lead into our discussion for today.
Yeah, so I am employed by University of Minnesota Extension. I am our extension educator for farm safety and health. And if you think of farm safety and health, of course, that is a topic that can cover a wide array of things. So how I explain it to people is my job is related to keeping farmers and their families safe, happy, healthy, and alive. So accident prevention to suicide prevention and everything in between.
I think we're going to have a lot of things that we could talk about. I mean, that's a pretty broad scope for you.
Right.
Well, so what are some of the questions that you are getting from your farmers in rural areas in Minnesota as we end out the year 2025?
Yeah, of course, working in farm safety and health is certainly unique and a little challenging. It's maybe a topic not all of us like to talk about. Whether we are farmers or not, talking about our feelings is hard, right? And in our society, right, like we are kind of taught, especially in rural America, pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and shove it all down, keep it all in, you'll get over it. And of course, we have learned that that is not an effective method for managing stress. So, when I talk to farmers, normally their concerns typically are about somebody else, possibly about themselves as well. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I find most farmers are concerned about somebody else, their neighbor, their spouse, their sibling, etc. And it's usually a lot of the questions or concerns when we think about stressors. A lot of things are related to financials, of course. And we know that also globally and nationally right now with marketing and other things like that, there's a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty. And of course, humans can really only tolerate so much uncertainty. So as that really starts to add up for folks, that can really start to take its toll as well. And then we start to get into that compounding effect. So another issue that's often brought to me or that I hear about from other folks working with farmers is about relationships, right? Relationships are what make the world go. All of us have them in different ways: romantic, friendship, professional, etc. But those are really challenging, especially when we aren't feeling our best. We are maybe isolating ourselves more, and then we feel like nobody understands and nobody knows and nobody can help us. And so we keep, creating this bubble of stress around us. And that's probably more than you bargained for, Bridgette, on an answer to that question. But the short answer is lots of things.
Yeah. And Emily, with the economy the way it is, I'm sure that, along with the tariffs, that has some stress with our ag community as well. What are some of the warning signs that someone in your life might be struggling with a few things?
Yeah, I think a lot of us are really good at knowing how we feel stressed, but it's important to remember that stress is going to look different and manifest differently in everybody. And we all have different tolerances for stress. So some of the common symptoms to look for, they kind of go into some major categories. So we look for physical symptoms. That's something I suffer from a lot when I'm stressed. So I get an upset stomach, I will get headaches. Other physical symptoms could be things like poor appetite or overeating, under or oversleeping, lack of grooming, those types of things. And then, in addition to those physical symptoms, which a lot of us think of, there are, of course, those emotional symptoms. So, feeling a lot more sad or depressed, feeling very annoyed or frustrated all of the time, or feeling like you are just riding this huge roller coaster of emotions every day. Or on the flip side, somebody who has become emotionally numb, right? Like there is no longer a baseline. They almost seem like a shell of themselves. And then in addition to those, there are behavioral things to look out for too, right? Aggressive behavior, risky behaviors, drinking, drugs, violence, those types of things. So it's really a wide range of symptoms. And again, everybody's going to be experiencing them differently. And I also like to remind people when we think about symptoms too, is, as I lifted off those symptoms, you might be thinking like, oh, I'm experiencing some of those right now, or experienced them yesterday or this morning. And it's okay to have a little stress. Like it's okay to have one bad day, right? Like I got a big report for work due soon, so I am definitely under a little more stress than usual and not feeling 100% like myself. But I know what's causing that, right? And I know as soon as this report is done, it's due Monday, so the end is in sight, right? But we're really thinking beyond bad day, bad week, bad month, bad year, etc. So really looking for these things, not just they mentioned once that they had an upset stomach, but every time I see them, they talk about feeling ill, for the past 3 months. Some of those chronic signs, stressors and symptoms that aren't going away as well. So lots to look for. And my final reminder on signs and symptoms is I love to remind people because we all get, I think, rightfully a little nervous talking about mental health, especially somebody else's, that I remind folks we are all experts in the human experience, right? We have all spent our whole lives being human beings. And there is a lot to be said for that. So just trusting your instinct and your gut. I'm sure we've all been there where we've walked away from a conversation just going, I just don't feel like something was right. Like I really think something isn't okay. That is your body telling you, right? Like something is going on with that person. Even if you aren't consciously picking it up, you're subconsciously noticing it. So I like to remind people of that too, is if you think somebody isn't okay, they probably aren't.
Right. And Emily, I mean, our farmers are some of the hardest working individuals out there. I mean, it's work, 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 work. How do we balance that? How do we balance work and life to maintain a low stress level? I mean, how can that be done? Because even outside of the ag community, I know people, it's all work. I mean, it's work. They're married to their job and their stress level is super high and their health eventually takes its toll as well. How do we balance that out?
That is a great question, and that's something I think about a lot. Now, Bridgette knows this. I grew up on a farm. I'm a dairy farm girl from southern Minnesota, and certainly, right, the farm is like the other member of your family, right? Or I do some work with farm couples, and we kind of talk about like the farm is the third person in your marriage sometimes. So yes, farms are very central, and we've all heard it, right? It is not just a job; it is a lifestyle. So we have to remember that. And certainly something that is both admirable but concerning in agriculture is absolutely the physical and mental demands of the labor. So I, of course, am again a farm kid myself. I know what it takes, and I really admire how hard farmers work. I mean, I admire those guys that are in a tractor for 18 hours a day during harvest, right? But on the flip side of that, we still need to be concerned about what that means when that's happening, right? I think we're so quick to just put on the badge of honor of I work hard or you work hard. And we don't think beyond like, yes, it's very admirable that you do that, but what toll is it taking on you? Right to your question there, what is that toll that it takes? And something I really think about, and I'm going to share, this is like Emily's personal opinion. It might be a little controversial here. I am not sure work-life balance, such a thing in that type of concept, really exists. So,
Amen.
um, I really think of it more as work-life integration, right? Like, and especially in farming, it is going to be too difficult to try to hold the two separately, right? This, one side's work, one side's life. Well, when you're on a farm, your work is your life and your life is your work, right? So again, I think about work-life integration, understanding that there are times of the year that, and in agriculture, of course, that are busier, right? So recognizing, like during spring planting or during fall harvest, like, yep, my integration is going to be more work heavy. But then what are you going to do when harvest or planting is done? And you have time, or hopefully will make time to make that life integration bigger, right? So thinking about like, yes, if you're in the tractor for 18 hours a day, I don't expect you to spend 2 hours meditating in a day either, right? Like I try to be realistic here. But really keeping in mind that piece that, yes, again, maybe we're not balancing them all the time, all at once. But if, for the past month, we have been giving 90% of our time to work and 10% to life. Well, now that that's calmed down, that work should come down as well. 50%, even maybe lower than that. And then life can come back up, right? So that's actually where you find the balance. It's not about perfectly equal sides or equal distribution of these things because there is seasonality. So really hope farmers, take advantage of those times, even if it's just a day where you can spend 1 hour doing something different or an extra 30 minutes reading the paper in the morning. It's really capturing those small moments too. I don't need you to take a week off. But again, if you can take an hour off in a day once a week, like that would make me happier, right? So integration versus balance.
That's an excellent point. Okay, we are going to listen to the news here at the bottom of the hour, but Emily, we need to talk about the COMET program that you have with University of Minnesota. We also need to talk about the stress resources, farm stress resources that you have, and we will do that when we return. So stay tuned, folks. We're talking with Emily Krekelberg. She is with the University of Minnesota, and we'll be right back. Are you listening? Have you decided you've got a question that you want to ask our guest today? Don't forget to reach out to us on the JLA insurance phone line of 701 293 9000. Thanks to so many of you who send text messages, emails, and more during the show. And also thank you to Progressive Ag as well as Vision Forward. Both of them were a big part of our Here We Grow project for 2025. And Vision Forward, once again, I'll say it, if you want some service work done, if you're looking for updates on your vehicle, like warranty work, oil changes, they'll come right to you to do it. And in this day and age, especially with winter weather coming, and they're willing to come out to you, I'd say take it. Give them a call, Vision Forward in Wapaton. Also, Progressive Ag is our weather sponsor, and so they are your risk management specialists. Whether it's weather or crop insurance, you're going to want to talk to them. They can help you out when it comes to marketing your grain. Our guest today is Emily Krekelberg. She's with the University of Minnesota. There is a program, Emily, that you made mention of in our emails called the COMET program. Can you talk about that for listeners? Because I think there'd be some interest in it.
Yeah, so Comet is one of the newer programs that we've been working with in Minnesota, and it's something I'm really excited to get the opportunity to teach and bring out to communities. So Comet, yes, like a comet flying through the sky, it is an acronym for Changing Our Mental and Emotional Trajectory. So, Comet is a 90-minute training program that was put together by the High Plains Research Network based in Eastern Colorado. And their charge was to create a mental health program that could be used specifically in rural communities that would be actionable, something that feels like practical knowledge people can actually use to help combat stress in their communities and hopefully help save people from getting into a crisis situation or being suicidal. So, changing our mental and emotional trajectory is in Minnesota. It's being taught by U of M Extension, our Department of Health, and our Department of Agriculture. And what is so unique about this program is a lot of the other trainings out there do really focus on recognizing crisis and helping people who are suicidal find those resources. This program takes a slightly different approach in that it is meant to help people before they reach that crisis stage. So the program kind of teaches about recognizing the vulnerable space people may be in before they reach crisis. And so this is a training that focuses on that. And I think we all know people like that, right? Again, I mentioned farmers are mostly concerned about their neighbors when they talk to me. So I'm worried about my neighbor. And of course, the number one thing I get from people when we're talking about stress is I want to talk to them, but I have no idea what to say. So I'm just not going to say
Absolutely.
anything.
Yeah, which is
And we've all
the
been there.
unfortunate thing. You don't have to be the expert, but by all means, don't just let it slide by you, right? That's probably the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what Comet does is it gives you 7 different questions or phrases that you can use. You don't have to use them all, but it just gives you some different ideas of how you can respond to those types of conversations to keep the conversation positive, to help the person feel better. The big thing with stress is often, like I said, we feel isolated, like we're the only ones experiencing it. And Comet allows us to break down that wall and help to acknowledge when somebody else is not at 100%. And I often find that acknowledgement, right? Somebody else just knowing we aren't okay and knowing that they're concerned and on our side can be a huge help for a lot of people. And social support is so important. So this is something that program really tries to promote. And a great thing about it, yes, we offer it in Minnesota, but we provide webinars once a month, so you can take this class virtually if you would like. I do know we also do some in the Moorhead area sometimes, so certainly for folks located in Fargo, that would be an option as well. But it is a great course, like I said, 90 minutes. Some of them go to 2 hours, but it is great, again, if you have ever found yourself thinking, I should say something, I just don't know what to say. This will give
And
you the
also,
tools to know what to say.
if you are on a rural fire department, a rural ambulance squad, these can be some supplemental trainings that maybe are useful to you and the rest of your departments. So that might be a thought. There's a couple of things here, Emily. One is you sent us the links for comment and some other items, and Addison's having a little trouble with our live stream to get those onto the spot today where we need them to be. So I'm just going to post those on our Facebook page for Weather and Ag in Focus after the show. People are going to be able to find them there today. Fortuitously, I saw an NDSU extension article earlier today that talked about nutrition with your mental health, getting enough B vitamins, also checking your vitamin D levels. Those two items can be critical to helping you feel better. Because, Emily, we think about the signs in someone else. What about the signs in ourselves where maybe we should take some caution?
Yeah, and I would say a lot of those signs, go back to the ones we talked about, but I would say it really comes down to a very honest gut check, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think we're pretty good at lying to ourselves, like I'm okay. It'll be better in a couple days, right? But just taking that moment to just stop and really check in with yourself, mind and body. How am I feeling? Where is it hurting or where am I feeling pressure, whether that's, literal or not, like those types of things. I think is so important. And yes, that self-care piece, when I mention self-care, sometimes people, they get a little unsure because we often think of self-care as these like events we do, right? Like, oh, if I go and get my nails done, right? Well, that's self-care. Right? Or going and getting a massage is self-care. And so it's meant to, we treat it like this event. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I've done my self-care thing for the week, so I'm done. And self-care, actually, if you look up the definition for it, self-care is any action you take with the purpose of it taking care of yourself. So when you are eating, you're practicing self-care. Sleeping is self-care. But so are things like regulating your emotions or journaling, right? So lots of different things can be included in there, but I really think the nutrition piece is important. Like you talked about, Bridgette, I really like to talk about with food, healthy swaps. Like I'm a pop gal, right? I love my cherry Coke more than the next person, right? But it's like, but if I'm only drinking cherry Coke all day, like that is not going to be great for me. So one healthy swap I do to still get my caffeine fix is I drink some coffee, but I will put Fairlife milk or like chocolate milk in it. I put in some sort of milk that has that extra protein, calcium, etc. And so like, yes, I'm still having my coffee and getting my caffeine, but there's just that much more little nutrition in there, right? Instead of a candy bar, I try to grab a protein or granola bar instead. So again, it's not about making these big, huge changes like, oh, I expect every farmer to, be eating these perfect meals and meal prepping all week. And again, that's not realistic, but where can you make those quick swaps, right? And again, if you have 10 extra minutes before bed one night, like, is it smarter for you to just go to bed for that extra 10 minutes? Or are you going to stay up scrolling on your phone or looking at the weather radar for the 800th time? Just making those little, nothing against weather radars, of course, but right, but like, just doing those little things as those opportunities present themselves. There's a book out there called The Slight Edge, and I kind of take a lot of that mentality from that book of like, if you just have that one slight edge above somebody else, that one slight edge above yourself, you're going to get better and better as the days go on. So that is, how I think about it in ourselves of again, knowing sometimes it is go time, but when it is not, you have got to stop and give yourself a little break. And again, that doesn't have to be a week-long vacation. Maybe it's just 20 minutes to sit and drink your coffee and read the newspaper, whatever that may look like for you.
Emily, this has been so helpful. And Addison did find a way to get those links onto our live stream right now so people can see them through the University of Minnesota. I will still additionally add them to our Facebook page for Weather and Ag in Focus today, so you can find them additionally there as well. So, Emily, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate the time.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And of course, thank you for shouting out Minnesota with our turkeys. So that was very exciting. And yeah.
All right. Thanks, Emily. Have yourself a great rest of the day. Now, when we come back, we're going to recap the weather. And if we have time, Bridgette will go over a couple of ag topics as well. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Well, let's see. It's 38 degrees here at the studio. It's a little chilly out there, but hey, you know what? This is normal. This is what it should feel like for this time of the year. We will see a little bit of sunshine. I'm seeing some clearing out to the west, and so we'll see at least partial sunshine as we head into the late afternoon, early evening hours, and then we'll clear things out overnight tonight, dropping off into the low 20s. More sunshine, light winds tomorrow, low 40s, and then we're right around 50 degrees over the weekend and into Monday. But as we said earlier, sharp changes on the way for Tuesday. We'll see a cold front swing through the area with snow showers, and we could see some minor accumulation. Our models are printing out anywhere between a half inch and maybe 2 inches. We'll wait and see how that pans out. It sounds minor, but when you have 30, 35 mile an hour winds with that out of the northwest, that could pose a few travel issues on Wednesday. So I know a lot of people travel on Wednesday to get to their destination for Thanksgiving. So please keep up to date on the forecast as we head into next week. Don't let the weekend fool you, because next week, much, much colder weather, and we'll be in the 20s for Thanksgiving. So a little bit chilly, although Thanksgiving and the day after look pretty quiet for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. It'll be cold, but we don't have to worry about any stormy conditions. So that's good news there.
Just the things that's a regular day, it seems, when it comes to taking care of the weather in this area. Not a surprise. Well, one thing that's coming up, as we just talked about mental health with Emily Krekelberg from University of Minnesota, I had also gotten a press release today from Rural Minds. They're based out of Western New York. They have a webinar on Thursday, December 4th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for those who are interested in watching. Free webinar. You can register for it. And it is titled Alcohol Use Disorder Among Women in Rural America. We know that it's very common practice for many when they are concerned about their mental health, their physical well-being, trying to get away from those aches and pains, of using alcohol as a method to do that. But the prevalence of that amongst women in rural areas is really climbing. If you would like to hear some of those discussion topics, how to get through the holidays, how to help others who might be struggling in that situation, again, this is a webinar put on by ruralminds.org. It'll be on Thursday, December 4th. And if you would like the link to that, you can email me, ag@flagfamily.com. My inbox is powered by Superior Grain Bins. That is superiourbins.com for all of your grain bin and dryer needs. Well, that wraps up quite a day. And tomorrow we have a full day. We're going to be talking with Greg Hansen with Hansen Agri Commodities to get through our markets, because we got a summary of what's happened this week in livestock and the grains. Dean, hopefully you'll catch it when you're off for the day.
Yes, I'll be on the road down traveling south to get my son, and thankfully the weather will be nice. So enjoy the upcoming warm weather, and don't go anywhere. The Jay Thomas Show, that's coming up next.